But you know what? The first time I really didn't have anything. Well, it's not that I didn't have anything to say. I always got something to say.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, we 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 sometimes, or me, this process that we are going through right now, it has been a process for me. It has. And I don't think I'm the only one that it's a process for. So, the
Nope.
fact that even that I can't even sleep tonight, like, I did crash during the day, and I've been crashing, like, you know what, like I end up waking early, but I also end up I have to have my nap. Like, you know what, this whole upgrade. Hello, whoever has
Hi,
entered the chat.
Ragmeet.
Hey, Revneet.
How are you?
See, Ravni can't sleep either. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, you know what? There is an actual upgrade going on. But
Yes.
what
Well,
I
remember, yes, it is such a nice treat. And what was I saying? What was I gonna say? Yeah, as you were saying, yeah, the upgrade that we're all going through. Remember, we just finished. Mercury just went direct.
absolutely.
Venus is conjuncting with Jupiter in Cancer. We just had the Lionsgate portal. We just had the full moon in Aquarius. It's some serious.
All those things going
It's
on.
some exhausting astrological kind of stuff going on. Whew.
It is, and it's as I said in my earlier video that I dropped a video this morning just to check in, because I haven't subsequently been doing much posting, because I have been allowing myself the the upgrade, to go through the process of the upgrade, to feel what it is I need to feel. And when I say feel what I need to feel, my feelings sometimes can be a little bit all over the place. I don't feel like making commitments. I find it very hard to make commitments because I don't even know how I'm going to feel the next moment. And so, um, definitely not giving into the pressure to perform in any kind of way. That honoring exactly where I'm at, being authentic in each moment. And that's why I'm back here tonight, because when I went live earlier, and I guess maybe that's also somewhat inspired this, because I said I didn't have nothing to say. Just because I have been quiet doesn't mean that I haven't been processing this process, because I have actually literally been processing the process of refinement, which means I have been going through a reel of the past, pulling out experiences and people, and and what did that really mean? Why did you let that person go? You know, um, um, looking at the deeper side to things, and that is not easy.
No, it's
But
not.
I've let go of what I would consider some majors. And when I say let go, I mean in the past 4 years, I walked away from my daughter and my granddaughter. And it's not so much that I walked away from my granddaughter, but walking away from my daughter was walking away from my uh, daughter, or walking away from my daughter was walking away from my granddaughter. But it was why, the why, you know, um, I've done videos about this, and stating the fact that, what, my daughter had many narcissistic traits that I could no longer live with, and that in my deciding to choose me and say no more, move to a completely new place, there was a whole lot impacted into that decision. And even after I walked away, everything that I had stuffed, everything that I didn't even give a voice to, or even allow myself the tears I did not allow myself to cry. This particular refinement period was when all of that came out. And, I found myself in the past 4 years even reaching out to my daughter in a couple of times. There's a reason why I didn't. I didn't. When someone doesn't see you, when someone tries to erase you, when someone, I realized that, the contract that had been done with me and her had been done long before we either of us showed up on this planet. My whole point being is I got the lesson. And it also showed me that it wasn't just my daughter that this showed up. It showed up in my family because that whole experience of not being seen, not being valued, not being respected was a pattern. So in this refinement process, I have been breaking the pattern in all my relationships. And I will tell you, did it send me on a whirlwind? It has sent me on a whirlwind. It's like, what the fuck? I thought I dealt with this shit.
Haley, go like this
What?
because you're
Oh, you know
no
what
the
it
other way,
is? It's
other way.
because I'm going to see if I can turn my camera or my camera. See if I do that. Is it going to alternate? It's not going to reverse it for me, is it?
No,
No,
no, no.
it's not
It's
going to.
not. It's that's not what we want. That's not what I wanted you to.
What?
I just wanted you to move yourself over
Oh,
because
you
we were
wanted me to
only
move
seeing
myself.
half
Well,
of
let me turn
you.
this around. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, now it's back on me. I had you all over the place. Well, I'm going to try this. Okay.
There you go. That's better.
There.
Just because you were
Okay.
only seeing
There.
one
And we
side of
got
your
we got
face.
some people in the chat. So I want to say hi. Hi for everyone that's showing up. And yes, I like you can't sleep. I reached out to Atlanta and said, let's go live because I figured if I can't sleep, there's a reason why I can't sleep. I'm going to share that. And I'm sure that there's somebody else out there that cannot sleep. And scenes as what I have not felt like performing or being in front of the camera, but I will also tell you all, this is probably one of my favorite times. I love the evening. I love this part of the evening when the rest of the world is shut down and I happen to be up. I think that's why I love the mid morning or the very, very early mornings. It's like, you know, it's not that I don't
And
like people. I just don't like sharing it with people other than like this. Am I making sense? I'd like
yes,
to I like to embrace those quiet moments. And maybe
yeah.
that is also from coming up from a large family and not having those moments of in which why do I feel like I can see up my nose? Like everything. I can see everything so clear now. But anyways, I'm not gonna worry about that. So I'm a little all over the place. But yeah, that's why I'm here tonight because I have been processing some shit. And I have let gone. I have let go of people, places, and things in these past few months, in these past few weeks, in this past week. So that processing, the feeling of the void, I want you all to know it's real. I am feeling it my personally myself. I'm here tonight to let you know that you are not alone. That void feeling that you might be feeling because of the decisions that you have currently made, you're all right. You're gonna be all right. It is necessary. This is like a house cleaning, like never before. I know that spirit has an ordained assignment just for me, but I know that this process is equally necessary. Let me go stop my toilet from running because I got one of those toilets that want to run, 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 run. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I don't want it to run away. I'm here.
Okay. So, for those of you who are still in chat, welcome to Hilly's live. Hilly has disappeared to go chase after the toilet. Uh, I just happened to be here. She called me, let's go live and let's do a live. So I said, sure, why not? But this idea of what you're talking about, like, this processing and stuff like that, about everything that's going on, and about, our purpose, and as individuals and things like that. It's definitely been a lot. I know for me, even just today, um like everything that you were saying just now, even about, nighttime, I realize that's also why I think I am nocturnal. um it's something that's sort of etched in my family DNA as well, being sort of night people. But also, I think what I've been learning about myself is also being someone who is neurodivergent. um I cannot, I guess I find that concentration during the day, it's it's not as easy because there's too much noise, there's too many distractions. I think too, because I'm at home a lot. So where I live in a condo, I'm right by the elevator, so I can hear everything, right, that, in the traffic zone. When people are coming home, going on and off the elevators, screaming. So I think all of that, plus the constant phone ringings with telemarketers and things like that, just really distracts me. So I find that now is like the perfect time, because the world is supposed to be asleep, more or less. And so it's like I could hear myself think, I could feel myself feel, I can breathe, essentially. Which, right, like, it just feels like there's a little bit more freedom when at this time.
less less energies to that you're having to filter through, because as energy magnets, um and that is, picking up on the energy from all the collective. I guess, what I think that one of the things I do like about my early morning, because for me, I'm probably more of a very early morning person, because
Whereas I'm
anytime,
just going to bed.
most of the time, I'm up at like 4, 3, 4 in the morning. And not that all the time I stay up that time, but I am usually waking when most people are just rolling over. And I realize why I like that, because of the stillness of that time of the evening, or that time of the early day. But as I said, nothing is uh, nothing is 100% right now in terms of my sleeping pattern and all of that. I just roll with it. I sleep when
Mhm.
I sleep. And if that is during the day, then it's during the day. If it's during the night, then it's during the night. Because I do realize that, you know what? Listen, my whole body has been going through an upgrade, and I let the upgrade happen, you know? And sometimes it feels like, you know what? It needs an upgrade. So I'm going to be very honest with that, too. Like a whole bunch of different things that, what, we don't necessarily, or we're not necessarily talking about, because we are in a society that necessarily, how are you? Good. I'm good. I'm good. Everything's
It's
good.
surface. It's surface. It's
Oh
surface
my
relations.
God, it's performance. It's performance. I ain't no performer. I'm not perform. No, what? Listen, I. Here's my new motto. I used to perform. We ain't performing anymore. It's the real. This is the real. This is what your process really looks like, if you are authentically going through it. And sometimes you're on, sometimes you're up, sometimes you got it, and sometimes you think, what the hell is going on right now? That is the real human experience of experiencing this, of what's going on in our planet, on the planet right now. So if you are one of those individuals who's anyone that's up in this chat right now, comes in, who's going to listen to the replay, and you are just coming into your awareness, you're going to feel a whole lot all over the place. I just want you to know that you are all right. You are not crazy. You are experiencing what they call a shift or a change, or you're being woke up. I don't know what's happening with you, because everyone it's happening on all different uh, levels for each of us. because we're all experiencing this on our own time. Some of us are
Mhm.
on different timelines. And yeah, I said that. We're you know what, we're not all on the same timeline right now. So that's what makes this that much more interesting. And you will
Mhm.
have noticed that timeline shift. You may have been there yesterday. Today, you are not experiencing that. And this can be very wonky for some of us if you are not aware. Another reason why I'm here this evening, because I know I'm not the only one. I cannot be the only crazy mother effer out there right now, you know. So that's why I'm here. Or that's
Yeah.
why we're here, because I picked up the phone with you and you were very, very keen to say yes. Because you and
Well,
I have even
I think
talked.
it was more of a shocker because I know you, and you're not usually up at this time. So it was more of a what's happening? And then it was like, well, okay, sure. Why not? I mean, I'm not really doing anything at the moment. And the thing is, I mean, not to say like I wasn't, because I was actually going through my cards and trying to put some stuff away because I'm also preparing for my live tomorrow with Ravneet. So trying to switch over a few decks and things like that, and then just planning sort of things out for myself.
Which I
And
gotta say, before you go on any further, that to anyone that's in that chat that's going to be listening to the replay, please go check out my girl Alana's channel and my gal Rev Needs. Alana is 3 Degrees of Love and Divination. You can check her out at 3 Degrees of Love and Divination. And you can also check out my girl Rev Neat um, at
when
Winds of Reflection or Winds and Reflection. My
no
whole
wind
point being,
of
what?
reflection,
Winds of
winds of
Reflection.
reflection.
Winds
Yes.
of Reflection. My whole point being is we are all trying to grow our channels. And shout out to my girl Revney, because I'm gonna tell you something. Her channel is it's growing. It's grown fair amount, and that's good. We need to see that. We need to see that. So it's just another arena, and it's another opportunity to draw us closer together. So, and of
Yeah.
course, then there's me. Nova Scotia's organic to the land. You never know what you're going to get, but you know what? We're always going to land 10 toes down and authentically get there. So that's
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, like I was just saying, like one of the things that I realized that, in my reflections today, and so are you. Actually, we were just talking about that, Ravneet. And actually because Ravneet and I earlier, because the live that we are doing tomorrow, um the artist for the deck that we were gonna talk about, the gentle heart, or
keep
no,
talking.
not
I
the
got to
gentle
let my
heart,
cat out. It's trying to scratch through my window. Come on.
Mufasa.
Yes,
No,
Mufasa.
no, 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 I don't know why. I just feel very called to sing that every time that I talk about her cat, Mufasa. Yeah, that's the inner children in me that just, must bring in Disney. Anyways, um, I was saying that, just sort of reflecting on some of the things that we were doing, getting ready to do, and the video with Ravneet tomorrow. It's for the Gentle Tarot, and as we go through that deck, I already did a walkthrough, but because the deck is new to her collection, it's like sort of doing a reintroduction. But the creator has a current campaign for the deck, so she was on live uh this evening to show and review the new campaign, to and then do some giveaways. So yeah, so there was that was going on, and then um me just thinking about like the same sort of processing. Am I crazy? No, I'm not crazy, but I feel crazy. No, we're not crazy. We're upgrading. We're going through all of these changes. And then what I find that I struggle with a lot, and maybe that's because I have been, to me, about getting to know myself. It's also about getting to know all the aspects of self. So that includes my astrological chart, what we're, sort of doing that deep dive with the Akashic records. What are some historical woundings? What are past life woundings that maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm having to process and change in this lifetime? And as I reflect on that, the idea of being a Virgo with a sort of perfectionism, overthinking things, finding myself in analysis paralysis, and all of that. I also find myself ruminating eh, on whether or not I'm doing things the way that I'm supposed to, in the sense based on societal standards, right? And it's societal standards that sort of keep me in this sort of feeling inadequate, feeling like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not um hitting those societal goals, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all of those things that that sort of come up and make me feel like, okay, I'm falling short, or I'm failing, and I have to take my step back. No, I am unique. There is a reason why things happen the way that it happened. And there's a mission. I wasn't meant to fit in. I was always meant to stand out, or not, because and when I say stand out, I mean in the sense of doing things differently. So, right? And that's why I realize that now. Maybe that's why I'm also neurodivergent, and I'm not neurotypical.
Well,
So
keep
so
going.
because of
Sorry.
that, sorry, say that again.
No, no, keep going. I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that, I realize that that's where it's like I'm sort of fighting with myself, because there's that part of me that want that, because it's so accustomed to the people pleasing and the sort of shrinking myself to fit in sort of thing. So it's like there's that old aspect of self that is somehow still trying to, I guess, adhere to that sort of old way of thinking and that old way of being.
That's the point that I wanted to make, is that, you know, we live in a society that is very performance driven. Everything is a performance. We have advertisements, and we have television, and we have, it's all a performance.
Hmm.
We are not programmed for authenticity in what the universe and the planets that are lined up are demanding is authenticity.
Yeah.
So if you try to step into the role of performing, it ain't going to feel right. It's going to be
No.
very difficult. And so when I tell you that I am, um, I'm not resisting the process, I'm allowing myself to go through the process. That's not to say that, there's not times I don't look at my channel and think, you know what, oh my goodness, I could be doing more. And then I say very quickly, no, no, you're doing exactly. You're
Yeah.
doing exactly what you need to do. And I guess, um, uh, I also had to come to a point. I also, with that not performing, is that not performing means that you don't do nothing, that you have to do something. And so, because me, I'd be very quick to not do nothing. Can I tell you that? I'm good not to do nothing. But then I realized that that is not structure either, that you
Hmm.
have to do something. And what do I mean by that is that I also have a commitment of some kind to my family of my channel.
Mhm.
So, that's really why I'm here. For anyone that's going to be viewing this that has sub to me or that is going to be a future subber, know this, that it is my authentic self that is coming to you tonight, because I think, you know what? If I'm going to come, I say, you know what? I'm spirit driven. I'm going to come real every time. And this is the real me coming
Yeah.
tonight to you to let you know that this is real. I am really going through this refining process. This is what it looks like. It means that you don't want to perform. And sometimes, you know what it means, that you have to maybe uh, stretch yourself when you don't want to. And this is the stretching myself in some ways and sharing that authentic part of myself with everybody.
Yeah. But I think it's also it's also too about uh recognizing um what's yours and what isn't. So what one of the things that I find too, because you see, uh, we all want to be accepted, right? And when you're someone who has been isolated for a long time, or you felt like you were always somebody who didn't fit in, or abandoned, like for me, I know one of my biggest things and deep woundings is abandonment. And so, you know and never feeling like I belonged, but I was never meant to belong anywhere. I was meant to forge my own path, right? But then you see, when you grow up around people who are not like you, right, and they don't think like you, and everybody sort of thinks similarly, which is pretty much the opposite of you, you're thinking, well, okay, there's and this is where it comes in, where I talked about saboteurs before, where it's the parts of you like the judge, right? And where does that judge come from? How is that judge formed? Well, it's formed from all the opinions, all the sort of, what do you call, constructive criticism, and all of that stuff that has come from outside of me to say, oh, well, you're not doing that right, or you should do it this way, or some, whatever the case may be, right? And so, um because of that, you have this sort of false sense of as you say, performance on how things should be or how you should be. And so it's then there's that level of, sort of, as you say, yeah, this performance that you're trying to upkeep because you want to please or you want to fit in, but then it doesn't feel right, so then it doesn't feel right with your spirit, so you're going against it.
Or you feel like you're going to be left behind. I don't want to be left behind, because you know what, that fear of it, that abandonment. If
Yeah.
I am not seen, that's another thing. Like,
Yeah.
um, that spirit is also letting us know that, you know what. Listen, it's if the one thing that I am learning, that spirit has put in my face, that not only is everything in spirit time, but you know what? It's like we've all signed that contract. So it's already in the contract. We are just living out the contract right now. And it's this part of the contract of where, because if part of that contract was you're going to go through a void, you are going to let some people go. If you can get through all of this process, and you're going to let some thought processes and belief systems go that you were extremely attached to, and it's going to feel like you are empty right now. So I don't even know where I was going with that, but my whole point being is that uh, just basically it's all a part of the process. In that, if you remember that, you know what, we're on contract here. So every person, for me, I think that one of my biggest who coming to terms with the fact that I don't need another conversation with my daughter. I don't need to have the apology. I don't need to have the inner understanding of what maybe what even had taken place. That just the fact that I knew this contract is done, walking away to save myself, that was something I needed to learn. Obviously, lifetimes before. My daughter was the one of the catalysts that helped to that was put there that I signed the contract with so that I could really get that lesson. Looking at it from that standpoint, right now, today, is one of those things that helped to refine that I was able to refine, process, and have it really, really make sense and me not feel a certain kind of way. So it was worth the having to go back in, look at the whole friggin' story, all of that all over again. Because, oh my God, yeah, that makes so much more sense right now, today, than what it did when I was still trying to process the pain, or when I was still holding space for her to come back, or for us to have a conversation. I ain't holding that space. I don't need to hold the space, you know? Um, um, pro- Job done is what I'm gonna just say. Job done, you know? Not everything is gonna have that answer that you have to come up with the you give yourself the permission of forgiveness. You give yourself the permission to move on. I don't need to stay in holding anywhere in terms of my thought process. I don't know. I hope I didn't hijack things, but I just got all these thoughts going. Blah, blah, blah. Did I hijack you?
No, 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 you did not hijack me. Don't worry about
Yeah.
that. You didn't hijack me at all. But yeah, like I just it's this year has been a lot. Like I mean, remember this is the year of well, it's the year of the hermit, it's the year of the wood snake. So we're it's introspection, it's it's shedding, all those old paradigms, all of those old ways of living that. And not only that,
Mm.
it's we're going through a very earthly purge right now. like
Yeah.
like mother nature is purging.
Yes, she is.
She is purging the shit
Yeah.
out of
Yeah. You
all of us,
know, it's
including
funny that
herself, right? So
yeah,
it's
laughable, but yet not laughable. You almost have to laugh.
exactly like it's like right, exactly. And we don't know for how, we can only imagine what more there is to come, right? Because like I mean, just everything, the way the world is, it's like I literally keep hearing, like every time I want to say what's going on, the word that the words, the world is on fire. And every time I say that, then what my brain, because my brain and all those parts of myself are very much connected to like songs and music and movies and things like that. So it's like constantly, I'm constantly being triggered. And so like it's like as I say the world's on fire, all I hear is Alicia Keys start singing in my head. The world is on fire.
But you
And
know
I'm
what?
like,
Can I just say something? That's Kali Mar. Kali Mar, that's how she's showing part of her anger in terms of or setting things straight or that's her really, and she is showing herself because she said the world's on fire. One of the things that we are experiencing right here where I live, and when I tell you, like I'm only but maybe about 15 miles away, 15-20 miles from a major forest fire, one that's been going on. They got it down to a good place of where it wasn't such a big problem. It's starting to erupt to be a problem. I just got an emergency alert. So seriously, there could be a chain of events within just my area that could change my whole dynamic here within the next few hours because the shift of the wind and all of that. And when I tell you how dry it truly is here, So you're not going to tell me that, you know what, Kali Mara is not at work. The sun
Yep.
strengthening the way that it has, like I have never in my life saw what I see happening right now. In my 59 years, I've never saw the sun burn a plant leaf like I saw.
You know, that's not the sun from way back in the day. The sun we have now is not the sun from
No,
our ancestors.
no, no,
It's not the
no,
same sun.
it isn't.
It's not the same sun right now. And I think, yeah, and it's funny because there are moments where I feel very connected to Mother Nature, and that is, and it's funny that I say that because I still find that shocking, considering that I'm a person who lives like a hermit. Like like we've had these conversations many times about you need to put your foot in grass. Well, no, I don't. Yes, you do. But like but even when we do go back and forth with that, and I realize that I still very feel connected to nature in such a way, Mother Nature, to the point where sometimes I will get up and find myself screaming in anger because it's like I feel the world's on fire. I feel, and I mean, and I don't just mean, obviously mean that literally, because we're talking about the forest fires that are,
You're
here
feeling
and
the
everywhere.
energy of the
Yes, and the anger that's
turmoil in your
coming
breakdown.
out, and I'm feeling the anger, and I'm saying, "What are you doing?" Like I hear myself speaking this loudly. What are you doing to my land? What are you doing? Like, why can't you guys understand why? Like, this is she's mad. Mother Nature is mad, and this is the uproar. And the thing is, but yet the way that human beings sort of interact with one another, this the crabs in the barrel, the dog eat dog sort of mentality that is still going on, that performance energy, that, competition, all of those things still, as they play out, we're not realizing that all of that is what's affecting everything that's going on.
Well, you said you you can really feel nature, and I am, sweetheart, immersed into it. I do feel it. It is
Rodney.
speaking.
Mhm.
It is definitely speaking these days. Um, from the trees to the birds, and they're giving. Look. They're giving messages. I don't want to give any one particular message that because it's
Mhm.
up to me to determine what I feel that message is. My point being is, not only do I feel their presence, I feel the trees bending towards me. There is an energy that, you know what, I have definitely I'm feeling I definitely lined up with in folk. Um, it's all alive. It is all alive.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. It absolutely is. It's crazy because, um, yeah, like I feel like, um, there's just it's I don't know how to explain it. Like it's there's so much I feel, and I don't know how to decipher it all, because it's just coming, like it just comes up so much, and it can be very chaotic. It
The
can be
need,
very
the
chaotic.
need, the need to be silent. You can understand now why, you know what, there's a need to be still.
Yeah.
And you were saying that there's so much coming up. That's one of the things that I have found that I've been processing a lot of feelings because there's been a lot of scenarios that came up and they can involve feeling it. Maybe things that I didn't feel from a different perspective in a very long term, or I didn't allow myself to feel them at all.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff that, you know what, I wanted to just be more, a little bit more clear about that because people are saying, well, what are they talking about? That stuff from the past. that stuff that you know what you think that you know what you may have uh, dealt with, that you've had some sort of healing on, that's the stuff that is coming up there right now. It's being examined from a different level or a different layer or different avenue. Now you're looking at it from a different avenue. Oh my God, I didn't see that. I didn't see,
Yeah.
or I suppressed that. I suppressed that. I didn't realize that that's what I was really, really feeling, or I didn't allow myself to feel that. That's what's happening right now. So
Yeah.
that can be crazy and a little bit overwhelming, depending on, you know what, how much you got to process.
Yeah. And it's true. Like even when we talk about different perspectives, like you just sort of touched on a very good thing. Um point there that I want to elaborate on, and the idea of perspectives and how we all can have different perspectives, right? um and and I think it was in one of our lives previously with all three of us, you, Ravneen, and myself. And not the last live we did it, but I think one previously.
Hmm.
And we were uh we were talking about, or I had mentioned something about how the difference, where I feel like what a lot of people, what I see and observe with people, is that not everyone has that ability. And to me, that's another level of emotional intelligence and empathy, where you have this skill that you're able to not only hold space for your own perspective, but at the same time simultaneously being able to to put yourself in the other person's perspective to see it from their point of view. And I think when I mentioned that before, it wasn't fully understood what it was that I was saying. And then all of a sudden it was like a few days later, and I think I sent it to you guys, where there was it was an episode of the Big Bang Theory with Sheldon and Penny, right? And Penny was like basically brushing off what Sheldon had to say, because to her, from her perspective, she didn't see it as being a big deal, right? And that was one of the things that that sort of came up. But also, too, even on the topic of yes, Revneet, grounding, and you could try to come after me.
She wasn't trying to come after you. She just cares. That's all. We
I know,
care.
but no.
We
It's
all
not that.
care
It's the
about
way.
you,
It's just
Alana.
not. It's just what she said. It's just what she said in the chat. And that's why I'm laughing and I'm teasing her. But it's like, and so because I always hear about that. Oh yeah, And to me, my understanding that is like there's different aspects and different understandings to the word grounding and
Yeah.
what that looks like, right?
Hmm.
And most people, and I would say, I want to say the neurotypicals in society usually first go to the fact that, well, grounding, it means to, yeah, go put your foot in the grass, be one with nature, that kind of thing, or be out in nature.
Hmm.
But it's like there's different aspects to that whole thing about grounding. And that was the thing that I was like, where I coming to understand, and I recognize that. So then, of course, the way my brain tends to go down rabbit holes, and it was like, okay, well, what's about this grounding, and what is it about grounding? And I said, is there such a thing as being too grounded? Yes, there is. Actually, there is such a thing as being too grounded. And I some of the points that came up was, when you're too grounded and you're too, you don't, it doesn't allow for the idea of outside thought. It doesn't allow for the idea of, well, it can stunt creativity. These were some of the things that when I was looking it up, that's what was sort of coming up. It's 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 like it's like almost like putting yourself in a box when you become too grounded, because you're not allowing for the opportunity for different perspectives and flow of things. And so I was like, that's interesting. And
You know
um
what? I don't know about that. and I'm not gonna sit here and challenge it back and forth with you. But I'm gonna say this. The whole point is this, Elena. And I don't want to go back and forth about grounding, and I don't want it to be one of our topics of discussion that you know what we're always at an impasse with. An impasse. There is an importance to ground so that we can center and align. There are natural ways of in which we do that. Hitting the grass is just one of them. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
getting some plants because we're not all exposed to grass. We can't all go out there because we don't all live in the same areas. Life isn't
Mm-hmm.
like that anymore for all of us. But it doesn't take away from the necessity
Oh,
of
I'm not
being
saying.
able to ground. And so, you know, I just want to make about your statement about, you know, what too much grounding. I There would be a need for a balance with everything,
Mm-hmm.
definitely for sure. You just can't stay in this whole period of where I'm grounded, I'm grounded, that's all I'm going to see, and not recognize that there's a whole world going on out there that may not be as it's trying to find your own personal grounding anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to find your peace, not competing with anybody else. And that will be its task today. So, you know,
Well, that's exactly
that
what
whole
I'm
grounding
saying.
clock, baby girl, it's not personal, but it's necessary. You do need to. I'm struggling to find my grounding. Like it's not so easy to ground today. It's not so easy to just go in there and find your peace, and because we have so many distractions that we are
Mm-hmm.
presented with. So it's not that easy, and you do have to be cognizant of it now more than ever because of all the scattered energies that are out there that we are experiencing. Because some things are breaking down, some things are
Mm-hmm.
building up, some people are waking up, some people are, you know what, digging their heels in. There's a whole bunch of different stuff going on. And for you and I, who are energy magnets to
Mm-hmm.
people, it is necessity to get your
Of course.
grounding on.
Of course. And I'm not disputing that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disputing the grounding part.
Right.
It's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I find that a lot of people default to one particular method of grounding and then call that grounding, as opposed to recognizing that there are different levels to grounding, and not all of it looks exactly the same. That's my point. And that was my point, is the fact that it's not just the default. Everybody thinks that the default to grounding means going out in nature, when that is just only part of it. But there are people who will just think that go to default and say, "Well, that's all about grounding." There's more to it than that. So
One of the things I brought up today,
that was my point.
one of the
Not
things I brought up
negating. Yeah.
in my earlier video that I made today, and that was the fact that, you know what, we have at least a good 6 months, 8 months of winter,
Mhm.
of where our weather is not, you're not going out there and you're not putting your feet on the ground. You know, you'll be lucky if you can get out some days in terms of getting out into nature, because depending on just how the weather changes up and the temperatures, and
Mhm.
depending on, like here in the country, even your roads, because if there's an amount of snow, you're not getting out there to you're not going for the walk, because car might hit you. You know what I mean? There's all these elements that you have to think about. So you've got 8 months of winter. You got to think about, how am I going to ground? So during those 8 months for me, between my plants, between painting, between reading, anything that's going to help
Mhm.
to bring me into another, and I have to utilize them all.
Mhm.
Utilize them all. And when I don't, I feel it.
Prayer is is a form of grounding,
Prayer
right?
is a form of grounding. Yes, it
Exactly.
is.
There's very, and
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. There are various ways to grounding.
Yeah.
And it's about recognizing and appreciate them all and not negating anyone or only holding importance to one particular form of grounding. That has always been my point. But that's where I feel like it wasn't it wasn't getting heard. And I don't mean just by you or Ravneet or anybody. I just mean in general, because it's like anybody that I talk to, especially when I realize that I consider them sort of neurotypical, it's like oh well, no, that's not the way it is. It's like, well, okay, what do you mean? If I tell you the sky is blue and then you're telling me no, the sky is green, well, okay, that's your perspective. But based on my perspective, this is what.
At the end of the day, here's how it's going to be. Ground if you want to. Don't ground if you don't want to. You will notice a difference when you
Of
don't,
course.
and you will notice a difference when you do. That's it. And you know what? When you're ready to do whatever for whomever is listening to this, you do it.
Mhm.
And your body will naturally allow you to go through the process when you are open to the process. When you
Mhm.
aren't open to the process, you won't go through the process. That's it. Because we all move at different speeds, places, spaces, and we're not all in the same space geographically, mentally, or none of the above. It's an individual thing. That's it.
Exactly.
So, when
But yeah,
I'm
but I
listening
just
to
mean
my
it
own
in general,
autonomy,
even about
I'm
various
not
things. Sorry, what were you saying?
I said if I'm listening to my own autonomy and I'm respecting my own autonomy, I'm not going to really care that much about, or not, so not when I say not care, but I'm going to be paying more attention to what services me as opposed to what you're telling me that what services me. I'm going to be
Yeah.
paying attention to that myself. So that's
Yes,
all I'm
exactly.
saying. And that's what we're meant to be doing right now.
But I think that's also something that I recognize, even just being someone who's neurodivergent. I've grown up around a lot of people who have, in in general, around me, who, if I have a perspective or something that may seem out of the norm, instead of appreciating my difference in perspective, I usually go, oh no, that's not how it goes, you're wrong. That's usually what I mean, right? So it's in the sense of, well, okay, but that don't that stop negating what I'm saying, because I'm saying from what I see is as my perspective. So that's sort of just a general thing that I have found that has been something in my 40 some odd years of life, where I've always found myself sort of having to navigate around with people.
I have a question
Yes,
because,
ma'am.
I've heard you talk about neurodivergent a lot, and I saw it, but I'd be very honest with you. I don't know much about the term. I don't know much about the condition or anything like that. So just for yeah, like
What's the
what is
difference between neurotypical and neurodivergent? So neurodivergent usually sort of stems about the way it's in the way that our brains sort of process and receive information, and sort of how, so like when people talk about the difference between neurodivergence and neurotypical, uh, the best example would be anyone who's considered to be on the spectrum to sort of some degree. So whether that be that you are ADD, ADHD, or you're autistic, you have a learning disability, whatever, any of those sort of things usually is what they consider people to be neurodivergent. So the way that their brain sort of processes information is not of the typical. And so, like, let's say, for example, if we were going to say, like, for a neurotypical person, the process of information goes from point A to point B. For a neurodivergent, it's probably going to go from point A to point, you know, uh, A and a half to maybe C, and then come back around to D before it finally gets to the other section. So that's, you can find a lot of people who are neurodivergent tend to be like in their head a lot more. You have those that it takes longer for them maybe to get through tasks because their brain is processing so much, and it takes longer for things to sort of come around. But yeah.
I was going to ask, is this a condition that is, it sounds like a condition that stems from traumas, from a sort of trauma?
Well, no, not always, because there are people who are born neurodivergent, right? So like people who are born autistic, you know, what they call, and there's varying degrees of autism, right? Like you have those that who, you know, severely impaired with social skills and things like that, where you can really see it. And then you have those that are more high functioning, so what they call Asperger's. So like, if you've ever seen The Big Bang Theory, the perfect example of someone with Asperger's would be
Sheldon.
Sheldon Cooper.
Okay. So
Sheldon Cooper is autistic,
I'm getting much. So there's yes, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
right? And if you see how Sheldon is, he's very smart, he's very intelligent, he's very accomplished, but he's also kind of quirky in that he's got his own sort of weird way of how he does things, right? So that would be the perfect example of someone who is neurodivergent, right? And so
Okay.
those people can be very misunderstood because the way that they sort of process information could be very far out there. It's as you said, you know, they're probably pulling information from various different realms at the same sort of time. And that's where it can
Well,
be
I
very
was
confusing.
also thinking that it's more than just the pulling of different information. They also don't have the gauge to um there's a lack of processing uh what others are experiencing in that moment, how others are experiencing them in that moment. Like I forget what I it's not that I'm trying to I forgot. What am I trying to say? That
Picking up on social
they're
cues, you
definitely,
mean?
yeah, picking up on cues. They don't necessarily pick up on the cues of
No,
others
because their
around
brain
them.
is too, they're too busy up here. So they're right, and every whatever next sort of, I don't know, idea or whatever is coming out. So yes, you know, they do struggle with social cues and things like that. So that is something that can often happen because you're getting lost in the moment. Sometimes they're too present because they're lost in the moment of what it is that they're doing or the information, so they're not picking up on the social cues that may be going on. So that's the other thing where I've, yeah, and I think Ravneet had a question. What was your question, honey?
Why can't I see the chat?
I don't know.
My chat message.
Yeah, and that is, you're absolutely right. That is a struggle. Where my, yes, my emotions do take over, and so that is something that I am working through and have been very conscious of. So
Oh, I can see.
what are you
What? What did you say? What can you
doing?
see?
you doing? Because I was talking and then all of a sudden you're sideways and it's like the eyeball. All I see is eyeballs just
I
staring
know.
at
You
me.
know what I'm trying
So
to
I
do?
was like, what
I'm
the
trying to see my chat, and I can't see my chat. And I'm trying to see the chat, and I'm listening to you, and I keep talking, baby girl, keep talking.
So
I think
yeah,
you see. I think that YouTube just.
that's
I
Remy.
don't think
That's
YouTube likes
exactly
me
what it
anymore. They
feels
don't
like.
like me. What?
It's like all my emotions are clamoring to the surface all at the same time, and they all will have something to say. And so it's like it's me having to sort of sort through those the emotion and be like, okay, no. The logical self is in control, not the other parts. So, and that's where that was how, that was the whole idea in therapy to getting to know my different aspects of parts and self. And I can't see your face, my dear. All I see is, yeah, your body, not your face.
Sorry.
That's okay. But I'm just, yeah. So, it yeah, and I think that's really it's because it's I feel like it's because it's a lifetime of not being heard, of not being seen or understood, or people thinking, like, I've had people say to me, well, why do you talk like you're from outer space? What do you mean? Well, it's like, oh, well, it's so broad. Everything that you say is so broad. It's like, well, bring it back down to earth. Well, I am on earth. Like, hello. What do you mean? I'm here. I'm in front of you and I'm speaking English. How do you not understand what it is? So yeah. So and I think, and it's funny because even when I talk about the Big Bang theory, and I watch, and I'm like, there's certain things that I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get Sheldon Cooper. I get how he can and why he's the way that he is, and it makes sense. So, like, just the other day there was a clip that came that sort of came across my feed, not the one that I sent you guys, but it was something else, and it was the history of why he always knocks 3 times. Every time he goes to the door and he's knocking, Penny, Penny, Penny. And it's like it doesn't matter because she'll open the door like like as soon as he knocks it once, but he still has to go back there and still, even though the door is already open and she's already looking at him like, what do you want? He still has to finish that knock because it's not finished. That's the OCD part. And it's like I get that. I totally understand that because I'm the same way. So it's and sort of where that comes from and why that is. And you're right.
So,
I think
what
there's a
is it
certain
that
level
you
of
do?
trauma that stems.
So, what do
That's
you
very
do to handle? How do you handle social cues? How do you handle yourself when you are in situations of where you know what you are needing to deliver information, or you are in a conversation in group settings? How do you handle yourself in group settings? How do you deal with the things that you know automatically know that other people are not going, that they're going to have a struggle understanding? How do you deal with entering conversations in the world? And what is it that you feel that others could probably help you with in terms of dealing with, or what do you think others could do to help understand the situation better when it comes to you? But first of all, what do you do, first of all, to deal with when you become overstimulated, when you have 10,000 thoughts going, and you are in conversation so that you know what, either things don't get derailed or people don't become disengaged or whatever? What are the things that you do so that you can, uh, I don't want to say mask your situation, but what do you do so that you can continue to function when you're in group settings and things like that?
the same way that I do now, basically. And I do my best to um to be as honest and open as honest and share how I feel. I usually tell people it's the same thing. I cannot change something that I don't know that there's a problem with. So, when we have open and honest communication and we're authentic, then we're sharing that and we're understanding that of one another. I also am also will be like the observer. So when I feel like something happens and I don't know because a lot of the time too in the moment I I've always been the type of person to not react. I don't like reacting because I feel like the one thing that I realize that of all my emotions that doesn't come out as easily as I think that for a lot of other people is anger. I don't get angry very often. I may get passionate and maybe and that in sort of that regard or excited, but never angry. So a lot of the time, if something happens where and I feel sort of uneasy or put off, I usually would just sort of just observe it and then take the time to reflect. So then that way I can respond to the situation rather than be reactive. Because to me, you can't take back when you in the moment when you react to something. But you can always when you take the moment to sort of take a step back and sort of analyze things to respond, you're coming off from where I think it gives that chance for that sort of logical mind to set in and the emotions to sort of ease and down. So I take a lot of time to sort of have counsel with myself where I do spend a lot of time in reflection mode. I do spend a lot of time sort of reviewing and going over things, but I also realize that that can be a trap too, because that's where I'll often find myself stuck can get stuck in analysis paralysis. So yeah, it's trial and error, really. That's really all it is, because we're all people, right? And no one is perfect. And the thing is, we all have bodes of emotions. And I think a lot the difference that I think I feel from at least for me, anyways, um, especially with the work that I have been doing, even with therapy, I've come to be very aware of the different aspects of self and all the various emotions. I'm even curious to when things sort of come up and I can't pinpoint what that is. Because the thing is, remember, we have our we have our feelings, which would be, I would say, the core emotions, but then we have our sub feelings that can cross and be combinations of more than one. So it's really understanding them, where they come from, and naming them. And sometimes they're not even my own emotions. Sometimes they might be things that are just stored from the body, that can be um, reactions that are etched in our DNA.
Right. Well, I was
Yeah.
just basically I was looking for uh like what do you when I was asked you what you did, because I get what you're saying. I was looking
Mhm.
for a is there a process that you mentally go through that you know what? Okay, listen. What do you do to slow down your thoughts? What do you do when you're in conversation with other people and you have this thought that becomes overpowering and you but there's usually a process that we go through to slow ourselves down.
Mhm.
To I don't know why I cannot get this. This is just going to come out right. I guess I'll hold it because it's just not working tonight any other way, other than the fact that I'm going to need to hold it. But that's what I was looking for. But I get what you're saying.
Mhm.
That's basically
You know,
no.
to answer Ravneet's question, in regards to a time when I feel feel really heard. It's funny because the only time that I really feel heard is either when I'm talking to myself or in therapy. I don't feel like I'm understood any other time, more or less. I want to believe that there are other people who are do understand me or who are listening, but to really know if they are really hearing and taking in what I'm saying, I don't always know. Because again, there's that sort of level of, right, politeness. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't, right? Um so I think and it depends on the individual. But I feel like the connections that I've been making more recently, I feel like I'm being heard more than I have in previous connections. So it's there's still a level of maybe sort of missed sort of thing, but not to the point where I still feel completely misunderstood, if that makes sense.
Well, here's what I'm going to say, because it seems that we're having this conversation and it's went there. I know that you and I have had impasses where, you know what, there's been the level of, where our conversations end up in places of where, you know what, um, we are, it would seem like we're not understanding one another, or you feel misunderstood by me, or I have felt misunderstood by you, and that being one of the
But that's part of the human experience too, right?
absolutely, 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 it is a part of the human experience. At the same time, in saying it, if it this is one of those things between you and I that I don't want it to be on a continuum of an issue. I don't want your neurodivergence to be on the table as an issue each time that you and I come together. That's why I'm saying, what is it that what I can do? What is it that you can do? Because it's it's a lot more work, baby girl, than
It's to me,
sometimes
it
I know
really
I can process.
I think it's really just about, and that's what I say. It's about love, acceptance, respect, patience, and understanding.
But I can have all of those things. And when you say patience and understanding, I don't know. Yeah, I do realize that we need that all of us need that.
But that's what
All
I'm
of us
that's what
need
I'm
that today.
saying. It's it's
All of
a,
us
it's
need that.
about recognizing that we're all people. We all have that human need to feel understood, to feel accepted, to feel like we're being heard, and that the time and care is being taken
Mhm.
to give that, right? That's the perspective that I come from. We all have that desire and that need. And so since we all have that desire and that need, you have to be willing to give it if you want to receive it. Like to me, that it just boils down to be that simple. So that's why I try to be and sort of paint this environment of, for me at least, of open, um openness and love and acceptance for anyone and everyone. So like we don't always have to jive about the same things. We don't have to have the same interests. But that doesn't mean that we can't have love amongst each other. right? Like that's how, to me, that's just, I see it just as simply as that. We can be from any walks of life. It doesn't matter. But do I have respect and understanding and love for the fact that you are a human being in front of me, just like I'm a human being in front of you? You damn Skippy.
Yeah, yeah,
You damn Skippy.
yeah. Well, you
And if
know
I
what?
don't understand you, I'm going to ask you, well, can you please explain or a little elaborate? Because I'm not really understanding. There are some people who just won't, they don't care to take the patience. They don't care to take the time. They're just like, whatever. If it doesn't fit in this neat fit little box, I'm not about it.
Yeah.
And that's not how I operate.
Well, you know what? Once again, I I don't want to make it just about you or just about you and me. I just, you know what,
No,
I just,
it's
you know what,
not. It's
you took it there, and I didn't want to put you right on the spot or anything like that. But you know what, I'm thinking, no time like the present. We may say I have this conversation like right now. You know what I mean? Because it's something that you do bring up neurodivergence, and I'd be very honest with you. I don't really know what neurodivergence is because I'll be honest with you either. I know that I take the time. I do know about autism. I do know about other conditions, but they're coming up with a new fucking condition. Can I just tell you that every goddamn day? And I don't know how to keep up with the conditions. And you know what? If that's the case, I probably got 10 of them. I got 10 of those conditions. I just they have
and,
not been
and that's the
diagnosed
thing,
on
and who
me yet.
knows? And that's the thing. It's like I
Yeah,
don't even think people. Well, nowadays, and that again goes to society standards,
yeah,
right? Because it's hustle culture. So people are not taking the time to really get to understand themselves or one
right,
another.
right,
Right? So that's why things like that, like neurodivergence and all of these terminologies and all of this stuff can go over people's heads. Or, like there are people who are like, well, I don't know what side I am. I don't know about astrology or whatever that thing is because, right? I'm not familiar with it. But it depends on how deep down the rabbit hole are you willing to go. Like that's really all it boils down to.
Well, you know what? Interesting, interesting. And you know what? I think we can move on, because I don't want this to be just about you, and I don't want it to be just about me, and I just don't want it to be about neurodivergence or anything like that, because that's really it's a learning experience. That's what I'm going to say.
Exactly.
I'm
But
sure
that's life.
you know what I need to know a lot more about, and yeah,
You're
it,
tripping me out sideways. I'm sorry.
you know what I'm going to chase, and I'm coming across sideways. Now, to me, I'm right up. I don't know why this is not running. It's not rotating, right? Like, why didn't it just rotate, right?
And
It's not.
that's why I went like this because I don't know.
And you know what? I went there. I wonder how this is going to change. It's probably going to be all over the place when I go to play this live back. Like, oh my God. Because I've been flipping the phone and whatnot, but it's so that, you know what? You're not just looking at my chest, you can see my head. And I had it positioned, and you know what? You could see me just fine. And then all of a sudden, when I went to do this live with you, it flipped and it will not. It says rotate device back. Well, rotate it back where? I can't rotate it. It's not rotating me back. I have to rotate it back. Anyways, see, when I go like that, world.
Exactly, Rodney. That's exactly right. All of
So,
what you just said. All of what you just said.
yeah,
Mutual effort to grow or meet each other halfway. Exactly. That's
yes,
exactly it.
yes. Okay,
I think
there's
we all.
Ravneet. Hello, Ravneet. I see you now. Why couldn't I see the chat before? Ravneet, weren't you sleeping? I still want to know what being heard means to you. Yes, what does being. Hello, Thumbelina. Thumbelina's with us tonight. Hi, Thumbelina. Why can I see the chat now? I couldn't see the chat before, Lena. Listen, I think YouTube's playing with me. They don't like me.
YouTube is playing with everybody. Okay, just so
They
you know,
are. They're so mean
everybody's
to me.
it's playing with everybody.
Stop being mean to me, YouTube. You be nice.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Well, hello. Thumbelina, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Always
Thumbelina
good to see you.
went to bed, so good night.
If you go to bed, Thumbelina, good for you. Because most folk are probably back in bed. Redney, what are you doing up? Mutual effort to grow or meet each other halfway. Yes. Good night, Thumbelina.
And Ravneet's laughing at you.
You know what? I'm looking at myself and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to
Anyway,
look back at this live. I'm going to see nothing but up my nostrils. I really hope that, you know what, we do not see any fissures. No, we don't need no fissures. But I'm looking at my face and thinking, oh my God, this is like right on my face. You can also see my eyebrows, which need to be shaved. But we ain't shaved them today. I can
Don't
see
killing me.
your
Don't kill
nose.
me. Don't
You
kill
can
me.
see my
Please
nose, can't you? You
stop
can
it.
see my nose. Yep. Okay. Anyway, so then we're not going to be so good because we're not performing. It is late at night and we're not performing. But why
No.
is it so big? I got to figure this stuff out before I go live again because I don't like that. Anyways,
But yeah, it's
this is being impromptu.
yeah, I just life is interesting. That's that's all I'm gonna say. Life is
So
interesting.
listen, I heard that you got that you're seeing someone. Yeah,
Who?
this is a nice thing.
Who?
I don't know. You're going to tell us, don't you?
Wait, who are you talking to? Me or Ravneet?
Yeah, talking about you.
Me? I'm not seeing anybody.
Let's get some juice started here in the community because now you know what half the community is going to be wanting to know who's Atlanta seeing? Who's Atlanta seeing? I need to know. Red needs right nosy. I need to know. She gets right demanding too. I need to know now. Who you say? Who are you seeing, Revney?
Oh,
Because I can
Jesus.
tell you right now, all I'm seeing is Mufasa, my cat.
I'm seeing you right now in front of me yapping and
All kinds of nonsense and foolishness at 1, 2 in the morning. Well, listen, I told you all that I was going to be getting a new channel. I realize now that if all these women that are 35 plus and over are in need of some help. We are in need of help. I grounded someone in the chat. Haha. Did you ground somebody in the chat? I want to know.
you
Who did
you did.
Yeah.
How'd you ground them? I want to hear this.
How did you
How
ground
did
them in the
you
chat?
ground them,
Tell us.
Ravneet? Tell us.
Is she gonna type it out? Were they
I don't
bad?
know.
Were they
I don't know. I
were they
really didn't
acting
hear
up?
this. I wonder who she grounded.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I reported them. Good. So he came in with some foolishness. See,
Oh, okay.
you know what? Didn't even see it. Didn't even see it. I can't wait to see the playback. But that's if they let me, because you know what? My last couple of lives, they're not letting me see the chat replay. Now, why that is? Because it's not like I do anything differently than what I did with any of the other videos, but it's just not. I don't know. Oh, they were bullying. They were
Yeah.
bullying. See, you know what? You're just the one to be on that. That's good. Good for
Yes.
you.
And
Good.
it's even funny because and that's just again it comes to linguistics, right? Because as soon as Ravneet said grounding, she grounded someone. I'm like, grounded? How'd you ground them? But now in the context, I'm like, oh, okay. So what she did was she did like superhero move and she just grounded them. No,
Well,
you're not
I
doing
was
this.
thinking that's what I was thinking when you were saying ground. She said I had to ground somebody because automatically in my mind I was thinking ground them, pound them right into the ground.
You know what we've been talking about before? Like
Yeah.
ground them. You have to center
Yeah.
somebody. Like what?
Well, listen. We don't
You
need to
see
do
how
no more
words can
branding.
have so many different meanings?
But I am gonna get off because it is like I don't even know what time it is. It must be like going on what, 2 o'clock? Girl, you are traumatized. Of course I'm traumatized. I am traumatized. Why am I traumatized? I need to go to bed. I am going to bed too. I'm going to
Yes,
bed
yes,
too.
yes.
But, listen, Alana, this was good. Never know. You know what? I love, you never know where we're gonna go.
You know what?
The thing.
That's right, and I love this very impromptu kind of haphazard live. It was
I wanna start. I just wanna start getting more. I'm just gonna start doing this a lot more and a lot more impromptu, and I'm going to try it anyways.
Mhm.
Maybe this
But
is
do
what
us
I'll do
one
with some of
favor,
my
please.
late nights.
Do us one favor.
What?
Make sure that you remember to center yourself. And by centering, I don't mean grounding.
Oh, you mean center
I
myself in front of the camera?
mean
Well, listen, if I did that, I will try. I'll try to remember. But you know what? Most people that tap into me, they know that Hilda's going to be somewhere like all over the place. I'll be all over the place until I get it right. Because I'm just trying to figure this out, like, and not thinking, Hilda, you are alive, just stay right where you're at. But, I don't like holding on to my phone. In fact, I really don't. And
that's why
I
you need
haven't.
yourself a stand because
Yeah, well, I have a stand, but the whole problem is,
that
you
hand,
can only see my breast. So I want it more of my face to be.
but wait a
Yeah.
second. Wait a second. Aren't you trying to catch somebody anyway? So I
Well,
mean,
not tonight, Atlanta. You know what? We'll do that the next live. I'm gonna hook, line, and listen to all you wandering gentlemen out there. Now you know what? These three cats that's on the line right here, and I said cats, meow. We'll talk later. Anyways, no, stop. Ain't nobody looking at anybody right now. This is what you
oh
call
my God, Hilly,
late night talking.
Hilly, I love you. You
I love
are
you too. Love you
you are
too.
hilarious. You
Hilda jumped
You
right
keep
into
me
the
on my
conversation.
toes. You keep me entertained, and you have and yes, and like I said, I think I told you this
I keep
before.
everyone entertained. Now you know what you know right now. You said you tell them. Say she keeps my emotions sometimes rolling. Sometimes
Yes, yes, yeah. I will say that. Yes, for sure.
that's more than real. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay.
And but it's yes, it's and like I said, there was another aspect where I feel like I could be more of myself, like my even my shadow can come in and feel comfortable, whereas there's other spaces where I don't feel like all of me can be comfortable. But with you, it's different. With you, absolutely, my shadow side can come out and be like, here I am. Woo! And it's a good time. So yeah, thank you for creating and being a space that I can feel very comfortable being myself, all of myself, not just parts of myself, but
Well, you
allow
know what?
all parts of myself to roam free. So thank you.
That works both ways because you know what? As I said, I always say this. I am of that flavor that you either like me or you repel me. And it took me a long time to not contort, not anything. Love you too, Revney.
Love you too,
You
Revneet.
you have a good night's sleep, and thanks for doing your. Thanks for being on it. Thanks for being on it.
Yeah,
Anyways, so the universe is beautiful. Either way, thank you for this. Um, it'll be interesting to see all the different contortions when we do this in the morning. I guess I'm tired. Yes, me too. I'm tired now. I'm getting tired because now all of a sudden, I can barely talk. Anyways,
but
you all
Revneet is
make,
like, stop yapping.
I am going to stop yapping. You make a great evening. To all those listening to the playback, I should have been saying hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, subscribe
All of
too.
that. Do all of that.
Anyways,
Yeah, if you feel so inclined, and and please, be sure to join us and check out all of our channels, um yeah,
we're
join
planning
Ravneet
going to
and I
put
on
a link
Ravneet.
for all of our channels into the. I'm going to put your link into the chat. And I am also going to put Revneet's link to her channel. So I'll
Yeah,
put those in the chat when I do this and
yeah.
I present it to the public. Anyways, Alana, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I
Revneet.
love you very, very much.
I love you
And now
too.
all my feelings are coming to the surface. So
I know. Make a good evening.
you
Don't
too.
cry
Love
on
you.
you. Cry on you. Cry on you. And I love you. Bye, baby.
Bye.